Welcome to PH Insight. Know the force behind the flag. Whether it's warships, fighter jets, or the next big defense move. If it matters to Philippine security, it's here. In recent years, the Philippine Navy has been racing against time to modernize its fleet. From second-hand cutters donated by the United States to brand-new frigates built in South Korea, the country has steadily grown its naval power. But rumors of another development have begun circulating, one that could mark the single largest jump in the fleet's capabilities yet. Tokyo, according to defense watchers, may soon make available its Abukuma-Class destroyer escorts, ships that have patrolled the seas under the Japanese flag since the late 1980s. If these vessels are indeed transferred to Manila by the latter half of this decade, they could fundamentally reshape the Philippine Navy's combat power. For the Philippines, the Abukuma is more than just another warship. It represents experience, technology, and above all, deterrence, all crucial in the West Philippine Sea, where tensions with China remain at boiling point. The Abukuma-class destroyer escort traces its roots back to the Cold War. In the early 1980s, the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force needed a cost-effective but capable anti-submarine warfare ship to supplement its larger destroyers. The result was the Abukuma-class, named after rivers in Japan, with the lead ship JS Abukuma, DE-229, commissioned in 1989. 6 ships were eventually built, all designed to detect and counter the threat of Soviet submarines prowling the Pacific. At around 2,000 tons in displacement, the Abukuma was smaller than a traditional destroyer but larger and more sophisticated than a typical corvette. It occupied a unique middle ground, giving Japan flexibility to patrol its vast waters without breaking the budget. For over 3 decades, the Abukuma class has quietly served as one of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force's most reliable workhorses. While never as glamorous as Japan's Aegis-equipped destroyers, these ships played a crucial supporting role. Anti-submarine patrols, equipped with sonar systems, torpedo tubes, and anti-submarine rockets, the Abukuma specialized in hunting underwater threats. Convoy escort duties, they frequently escorted merchant shipping and supported larger naval task groups. Maritime presence, their size and range allowed them to patrol Japan's extensive maritime territory efficiently. One of their greatest strengths was versatility. They could operate independently on patrol or act as force multipliers alongside larger destroyers. By the mid-2000s, however, newer classes began to outpace them. The Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force's fleet expanded with more advanced Akizuki and Asahi-class destroyers, gradually making the Abukumas less central. Still, their reliability and adaptability ensured that they remained active well into the 2020s. Though not cutting-edge by today's standards, the Abukuma class remains a formidable platform for a developing navy like the Philippines. Each ship is typically armed with 176mm OTO Malara gun for surface and limited air defense, Harpoon anti-ship missiles for striking enemy vessels, RIM 7C Sparrow surface-to-air missiles, short-range defense, ASROC anti-submarine rocket, launcher and torpedo tubes, helicopter deck, though no permanent hangar. With a crew of about 120 and a top speed exceeding 27 knots, the Abukuma was built for agility and sustained patrols. What makes the class particularly attractive for the Philippines is its balanced armament. It can handle surface, air, and submarine threats, a true multi-role ship. For a navy still building its first modern squadrons, this represents a dramatic leap forward. The Philippine Navy currently relies on a small corps of modern warships, led by the Jose Rizal-class frigates. These are highly capable but few in number. Beyond them, the fleet is composed largely of older cutters and patrol vessels with limited combat capability. Bringing in even 2 or 3 Abukuma-class ships would change that equation. Numerical strength, each addition expands the fleet size significantly. For a navy that counts its surface combatants in the single digits, this is a massive boost. Firepower leap, with harpoon missiles and anti-submarine weapons, the Abukuma would instantly become among the most heavily armed ships in Philippine service. Training platform: operating a Japanese-built warship exposes Filipino sailors to advanced systems and doctrines, preparing them for future acquisitions. Deterrence effect: just the image of missile-armed destroyer escorts flying the Philippine flag would send a message to adversaries in the South China Sea. Of course, ships don't transfer overnight. If the Abukumas do head to Manila, they will almost certainly undergo modernization, both to extend their lifespan and to align them with Philippine requirements. Some likely upgrades include combat systems renewal, updating fire control radars and electronic systems for compatibility with modern networks. Weapons upgrades, potential integration of newer anti-ship missiles, possibly Japan's Type 12 or US Harpoon Block 2. Air defense enhancements, replacement of older Sea Sparrow systems with more current point defense missiles. Helicopter support improvements, adding hangar facilities or adapting the deck to Philippine Navy helicopters like the AW-159 Wildcat. Sustainability tweaks, adjusting fuel and maintenance systems for affordability within Manila's budget. These upgrades would ensure that the Abukumas remain relevant well into the 2030s. As with any major acquisition, the road is not without obstacles. Operating costs: even though smaller than U.S. cruisers, Abukumas are still complex warships requiring substantial funding. Training demands: crews must be retrained in Japanese systems, which differ from Korean and American designs the Philippine Navy is more familiar with. Political approval: transfers of Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force assets require careful navigation of Japan's defense export laws and domestic politics. Integration with fleet: Manila would need to ensure that logistics and spare parts are available to keep the ships running efficiently. These challenges are serious, but not insurmountable. If reports are accurate, the earliest possible transfer would come around 2027, as the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force inducts newer destroyers. This timing is no accident. By then, the Philippines expects to commission more Jose Rizal-class derivatives from South Korea and perhaps even start receiving corvettes or missile boats from other partners. The Abukuma would slot in perfectly, filling the gap between high-end frigates and smaller patrol assets. Moreover, the regional context cannot be ignored. China's naval expansion shows no sign of slowing down. In such an environment, every additional missile launcher and sonar suite counts. The arrival of Abukuma-class ships would not only strengthen the Philippine Navy but also reassure allies like the US and Japan that Manila is serious about defending its waters. Beyond the practical firepower, the Abukuma's transfer would carry immense symbolism. For decades, Japan's post-war constitution limited its military interactions abroad. If Tokyo decides to pass on its trusted warships to the Philippines, it would signal a new chapter in Japan-Philippines defense relations. Such a move would highlight the deepening trilateral cooperation between Manila, Washington, and Tokyo. It would also align perfectly with the regional push for a free and open Indo-Pacific, countering Beijing's growing assertiveness. So, will the Abukumas really join the Philippine Navy? The answer is not yet clear. Defense discussions remain fluid, and much depends on Japan's own modernization timeline. Still, the possibility is strong enough that analysts and enthusiasts alike are paying close attention. For the Philippines, this is more than just a question of acquiring ships. It is about closing the gap between its modest fleet and the overwhelming maritime power of its neighbors. Every additional warship is not just steel and electronics, it is a statement of sovereignty, readiness, and resolve. If the Abukumas do arrive, they will come bearing more than missiles and sonar arrays. They will carry with them a legacy of Cold War vigilance, decades of Japanese seamanship, and the hope of a Philippine Navy finally stepping into its long-awaited role as a credible regional force. The story of the Abukuma-class is one of endurance and adaptability. Designed for another era, these ships still have plenty to offer. And for a nation like the Philippines, which is striving to protect its maritime domain in one of the world's most contested seas, their arrival could not come at a better time. Whether Manila accepts the challenge of operating them, and whether Tokyo is willing to part with them, remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the possibility alone has already sparked debate and excitement, a reminder that in naval affairs, as in history, ships can sometimes change the destiny of nations.